In the last video, we looked at electron-poor excited states and their tendency to undergo reduction, and so it's natural now to turn our attention to electron-rich sensitizers and their patterns in structure and reactivity. And the key with electron-rich molecules is that they generally contain electron-donating groups. We'll see what those look like here shortly. And this implies a tendency for these to undergo oxidation, primarily because of their relatively low ionization potential. This points to relatively high HOMO energy and a relatively easy loss of an electron from that high energy orbital. And of course, if we're talking about an excited state here, we would refer to this process as oxidative quenching of the excited state, return to the ground state with loss of an electron to form a radical cation. Now, resonance electron donating groups inject or donate electron density into an attached pi system via resonance, induction, or a combination of the two. And the general structure for a resonance donating group is an atom that has a lone pair that is in an orbital capable of overlapping with the adjacent pi system. When this situation happens, this lone pair can be donated via resonance toward the pi system, and we can typically land electrons on a carbon atom somewhere inside the pi system, placing negative charge inside the pi system as a result of the electron donation. The ether and amine groups are two key examples of electron donating groups. And so for a simple ether, let's just look at a methoxy group in something like anisole with the methoxy oxygen connected to a benzene ring. This oxygen fits the pattern of an atom with a lone pair connected to a pi system, and we can imagine actually more than one resonance structure that places negative charge on the carbon atoms of the ring in this compound. Amines are among the most important resonance electron donating groups and are highly analogous to the ether oxygen in this respect. We again have a nitrogen here bearing a lone pair connected to a pi system, and so it fits our pattern of a resonance donating group. And just like the ether oxygen, the amine nitrogen can donate its electron density into the ring like this. This places negative charge inside the ring, indicating that an electron donation to the pi system is going on. Now, just like we did for electron withdrawing groups, let's ask, what is the effect of the donating group on the ionization potential and electron affinity of, say, the benzene ring in these two examples, relative to benzene itself, where a hydrogen replaces the electron donating group? Pause the video now and try to think through this before I talk through the answer. Unsurprisingly, electron donating groups have the opposite effect of electron withdrawing groups. They decrease both the ionization potential and the electron affinity. And again, it's easiest to see this by examining an orbital energy diagram. So imagine we're thinking about a molecule like benzene itself with a hydrogen connected to the benzene core. And imagine we consider also a molecule in which the hydrogen has been replaced with an electron donating group. That electron donating group exerts an upward pressure on the orbital energies, pushing up the energy of both the HOMO and the LUMO relative to benzene. This causes a decrease in the ionization potential since the HOMO electrons are now closer to vacuum, and it causes a decrease in the electron affinity since the LUMO is now also closer to the vacuum energy. The two natural effects here in terms of oxidation and reduction are that an electron donating group makes a molecule easier to oxidize. Its highest energy electrons are now even higher in energy as a result of the electron donating group. And it makes the molecule harder to reduce since the LUMO energy has also been pushed up and the electron affinity of the molecule has therefore been decreased. And so we can naturally conclude then that relatively electron-rich excited states containing electron donating groups are going to tend to undergo oxidative quenching. And this is particularly true in the presence of good electron acceptors, and we'll see some examples of that in the ensuing slides. And again, this concept is very important in literature applications of excited states in chemical reactions. So one example concerns this atom transfer radical addition, or ATRA, process involving oxidative quenching. Here, visible light excites this iridium 3+ complex to an excited state. This donates an electron to this organohalide. X is a halogen, something like Br or Cl, and this results in the formation of a carbon-centered radical as well as X-, the halide anion. So that radical anion that is formed via this electron transfer process splits up into an anion and a radical, and the reaction continues from there. The key here, and this is not easy to see from this diagram, but The iridium 3 plus complex and its corresponding excited state are relatively electron-rich. Another thing worth noticing here is that the organohalide is relatively electron-poor. And with that relatively high ionization potential, high electron affinity, it wants to, quote unquote, accept an electron from the excited state of the iridium catalyst to get this reaction going. In the last video, we saw amines as great intrinsic electron donors to excited states, almost regardless of the electronic situation of the excited state. The flip side of that are very electron-poor molecules, which tend to act as electron acceptors, even for what we might think of as electron-neutral sensitizers. So a molecule like eosin Y, I mean, if you look at this, it contains some bromines that we might even think about as electron withdrawing in the carbonyl group. And so eosin Y is sort of electron neutral. It's got some donating groups in it as well in the form of the hydroxyl oxygen and this ether sort of oxygen. What it is reacting with here is this arene diazonium ion, which is itself intrinsically very electron poor. And so in the course of this mechanism, after eosin Y is photoexcited, it combines with this arene diazonium ion in a process that leads to the eosin Y radical cation. It's called that EY dot plus. And now a neutral, actually phenyl radical derived from the arene diazonium. The reason this works is that arene diazonium is so electron poor to start with because of this great electron withdrawing group. If you draw out the structure of the N2 plus group, you'll see it is a great resonance withdrawing group. This is so electron poor that it is able to essentially pull an electron off of the excited state of eosin Y. Now, to kind of close this discussion, I sort of just want to survey this slide, which shows the structures of a very large number of complexes that are used in photoredox catalysis. Electron transfer to or from an excited state is the signature step of a photoredox catalyzed mechanism, and choosing the right catalyst to do the electron transfer in the appropriate direction and with the appropriate favorability that you need to get the reaction going is key. And so what this table shows are the oxidation and reduction properties, the oxidation and reduction potentials, as well as their excitation energy, and the reduction and oxidation potentials of the excited state. And there are some trends in this data that we can easily rationalize using the theory of electron donating and withdrawing groups. One that I'll draw your attention to is the difference between Ru1 and Ru2, where we've taken a carbon in the Ru1 molecules on each of these pyridine rings and replaced it with nitrogen to generate Ru2. And so Ru2 has some additional electron withdrawing groups in the forms of CN double bonds, and that tends to make this molecule more electron deficient. Now, cover the screen and don't look at the table. What do you expect for the relative, say, reduction potential of Ru2 relative to Ru1? All right, now look at the table. Let's look at the table and compare the reduction potential of Ru2 to the reduction potential of Ru1. Unsurprisingly, the reduction potential of Ru2 is higher. It is less disfavored, we might say, or more favorable for Ru2 to undergo reduction relative to Ru1, and that's very clear if we focus on these excited state numbers. Notice the 0.77 versus 1.45. Ru2 is much more likely and much more favorable to undergo reduction in its excited state than Ru1, and that can be traced directly to the presence of these electron withdrawing groups in the structure. There are some other trends in this data. I won't harp on it too much, but it's worth pausing the video and exploring to identify some additional trends in these oxidation and reduction potentials as they relate to differences in the structures that you see right here.